Seeing is believing.
What you see is what you get.
There is none so blind.
As those who will not see.
Seeing is believing.
What you see is what you get.
There is none so blind.
As those who will not see.
Seeing is believing. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter, and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said,
They have taken my Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him.
So Peter and the other disciple started for the tomb. Both were running, but the other disciples outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent over and looked in at the strips of linen lying there, but did not go in. Then Simon Peter, who was behind him, arrived and went to the tomb as well. He saw the strips of linen lying there, as well as the burial cloth that had been around Jesus' head. The cloth was folded up by itself, separate from the linen. And finally, the other disciple, who had reached the tomb first, also inside. He saw and believed. Seeing is believing.
What you see is what you get.
There is none so blind.
As those who will not see.
Seeing is believing.
Then the disciples went back to their homes, but Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They asked her,
Woman, why are you crying?
They have taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him.
At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there.
But she did not realize that it was Jesus.
Woman, why are you crying? Who is this you're looking for?
Thinking he was the gardener, she said,
Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him.
Jesus said to her,
Mary.
She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic,
Rabboni.
Which means teacher.
Jesus said,
Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet returned to my Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them I am returning to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God.
Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news.
I have seen the Lord.
Seeing is believing.
What you see is what you get.
There is none so blind.
As those who will not see.
Seeing is believing. And on the evening of that first day of the week, when the disciples were together, with the doors locked for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood among them and said,
Peace be with you.
And after he said this, he showed him his hands and side. The disciples were overjoyed when they saw the Lord.
Now Thomas,
Called Didymus,
one of the 12, who was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him,
We have seen the Lord.
But when he said to them,
Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my fingers where the nails were, and put my hand to his side, I will not believe it. Seeing is believing.
What you see is what you get.
There is none so blind.
as those who will not see.
Seeing is believing.
A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said,
Peace be with you.
Then he said to Thomas,
Put your fingers here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe.
Thomas said to him.
My Lord and my God.
Then Jesus said to him,
Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed.
But I thought the seeing was the believing.
What you see is what you get, isn't it?
If I'm blind, how can I see?
Jesus did many other miraculous signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book, but these are written that you may believe,
Not just by seeing.
Not just by what you can get.
that you may believe,
Once I was blind, but now I can see.
that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God,
And that by believing you may have life in his name.
Life.
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 That by believing you may have
Life.
life,
life.
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 Life. In his name.